Hey there and welcome. So after my last video about my experience at a week-long advanced retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza, I get quite a few questions on which meditation should you do or where should you start? So this is a great question, and I wanted to give a quick breakdown about some of the most popular meditations and maybe give you an idea of what the goal is and where you should probably start. All right, let's dive in. So welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Jessica. I'm a naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist as well as a health coach. And online, I help clients overcome the effects of chronic stress and all the symptoms that come along with that. And one of the ways in which I do this is working with meditation or mindset. So I have personally experimented with a lot of different types of meditations, and I have recently found Dr. Joe's work and again attended one of his advanced retreats, and I have found his meditations to be very helpful. So when it comes to Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations, he has quite a few of them out there. So a lot of his meditations come from his previous books. So You Are the Placebo, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, as well as Becoming Supernatural. So when I first found his work in his meditations, it was through the book Becoming Supernatural. And that is actually where I started with his meditations. If you're unfamiliar with the book itself, it does have a description of all the meditations. And then if you wanted to purchase a guided version, you could go online to his website and kind of work through the ones that he has available there. I think one of the meditations to start with might be tuning into new potentials. Now, this is a great one to start with if you are new to his work because he is introducing you to the idea of this energetic field around us, or what you could call the source. You could call it energy, you can call it the field, you can call it the void, you can call it the nothing, whatever you want to call it. I think that in this meditation, he's really introducing the concept of this energetic field. And this meditation is focused on you just kind of becoming aware of that, which I think is really helpful in just becoming more present and becoming more used to the idea of actually just sitting and learning what it means to kind of focus on nothing, or focus on energy, or focus on something outside of yourself. Now, this brings us to the idea of working with a convergent and divergent focus, which he really starts to do in the next meditation, which is blessings of the energy centers. I would say the most important thing in figuring out where to start is actually understanding the idea that at first, when you're first training with the meditation, you want to work on focusing with convergent focus versus a divergent focus, and the reasons why you do this. So as with any form of meditation, you are practicing each time you sit down. You are training your brain in this technique to go from a convergent focus to a divergent or open focus. So let's break that down. So a convergent focus is where you are placing your attention on a object, or you're kind of narrowing your focus. For example, in other techniques, you could be using your breath and just focusing on that. You could be using your chakras and focusing on that. You can be using, any sort of guide, or placing your awareness in different types of your body, in different parts of your body. All of that is a convergent focus. Now, the opposite of that is an divergent or an open focus. Now, this is generally a traditional type of Buddhist meditation where you are opening your focus and getting your awareness kind of away from your body, away from your thoughts. So studies have shown that when we're using this type of open focus meditation, what is actually happening is that we're slowing down our brain waves, and that we're kind of slowing down our thoughts as well. Generally, we're going from a state of beta brain waves, which is kind of analytical thinking all the time, to different slower brain waves such as alpha, or sometimes even theta in more advanced practitioners. And when we are in these slower brain waves, we become more coherent, and we're able to actually tap into our subconscious mind. That's the goal anyway. So when it comes to Dr. Joe's meditations, I would say a great meditation to actually practice this would be the blessings of the energy centers, because in this meditation, you place your awareness in the different, he calls them energy centers of the body. They line up with most of the chakras from kind of Indian tradition, as well as with our different nerve plexuses from a more Western position, as well as some different organs in the body. in the Blessing of the Energy Centers meditations, and I will say there are numbers 1 through I think 9 or 10, but just start with number 1 if you're new. And the whole idea is that you're going from this energy center, which would be your convergent focus, to outside of that energy center, or the space around it, or the nothing around it, which would be your open or your divergent focus. So this would be a great place to start to work with that concept and just start to train your mind and train your body into what that feels like. And as you progress and as this becomes more familiar, you could then move on to the different Blessing of the Energy Centers meditations, because in these meditations, he kind of builds on with new concepts with each version. So again, I think Blessing of the Energy Centers would be a great one to start with. And also a very similar meditation would be from his Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself series. And that's called I believe it's the body parts and space meditation. Very similar concept in which you're going from that convergent to open focus and kind of going back and forth between the two and just becoming familiar with that concept and familiar with what that feels like. I think once you become familiar with this concept, a great place to move next, or a great place to start with, would also be the reconditioning the body to a new mind. Now, this meditation is, I think, important because this is where he generally introduces the concept of the breath. Now, in this meditation and with more of his advanced meditation, he has a very specific breathing technique that helps to kind of awaken, or he says to free up some energies so that you can create with. In my experience, it is very similar to a lot of different yogic or pranayama type practices that you would do before you go and meditate, or even kind of during your meditation practice. So the reconditioning the body to a new mind meditation really starts to introduce the breath and kind of works with the breath, and I think would be a great place to go next after kind of working with that convergent and divergent focus. So just then you would kind of add in the breath as well. And I think kind of going step by step keeps things from becoming a little too overwhelming. Now, I personally think once you kind of understand these concepts, or once you feel comfortable kind of focusing on, having a more open or divergent focus, then I think you're able to more easily embrace some of the other meditations where you feel like maybe there isn't a lot of focus and you might otherwise think, well, what am I doing? Prime example is the time-space meditation. Now, at first I kind of hated that meditation because I was like, am I even doing this right? Like, what am I doing? But after going to the event and after kind of really actually just practicing more and more, that meditation I now understand more, and I understand the purpose of it. And now that you understand the purpose of it, I think it's a lot easier to connect with and to actually be useful. So in a meditation like that, he's using more of that open or divergent focus to go into what he calls the void, or you can call it whatever you want, the nothing, the energy around you, source. You can use religion if you want, say God. Totally depends on what you relate to and how you choose to think of it. But it's really, in its basic form, you're using more of an open focus, which I think takes a little bit more training, and is a lot of times the reason why a lot of people never start meditating. So do not let that stop you at all. So also, once you have the concepts down and once you kind of understand the breathing technique, I would say now the kind of biggest issue when it comes to doing his meditations is time. So most of his meditations, things like Blessing of the Energy Centers and Reconditioning the Body to New Mind, I think maybe are like 45 minutes to an hour. And as you get more advanced, he has even longer ones. I would say you could also start, he has a generating series on his website. And I believe that these are actually shorter versions, maybe 20 minutes to maybe 30 minutes. Those are also good options if you're just not used to sitting that long or concentrating for that long or meditating for that long. I also really like, when I'm short on time, I really actually love to do the AM or PM meditation to either start my day or to end my day. And I think they're like maybe 25 minutes long. So again, another great way just to start to get into the pattern or get into the flow and not use that I don't have enough time as an excuse. A great place to start. So for me, to recap, I think that starting with meditations, tuning into new potentials is a great way to start working with the concept of the field or the void, the nothing, again, whatever you want to call it, and becoming more aware of now and sinking into the present moment and just being aware and being present in your body. And then blessing of the energy centers is a great way to start working with that open focus versus narrow focus. And then I think reconditioning the body to a new mind is a great way to start working with the breath and adding in the breath as another layer to kind of deepen your meditation as well. So I think those meditations are great places to start. Now, as far as, well, which meditation is best overall, what should you do after maybe you've been practicing for a while? And I think couple things. It kind of depends on what your intent is. If you are looking to, say heal your body, it might be great to start with blessing of the energy centers. Or if you're looking to attract wealth or manifest something in your business or in your personal life, maybe tuning into abundance is a great idea. But what I have found is that it doesn't actually matter. The reason I say it doesn't really matter, it's for me more about you need to just show up to the practice consistently. You need to get into the habit of showing up, sitting down, doing the work, and eventually coming up against yourself. That's, again, as I shared in my previous video, that's the most important part of the work, is pushing yourself a little bit further each time and coming up against all the thoughts that are going to come up, all the fact that you don't want to wake up in the morning and meditate, or you don't want to do it before you go to bed. You rather sit and have a glass of wine. Trust me, I've been there. But it's coming up against yourself and pushing yourself and taking yourself a little bit deeper each time into each meditation. That's kind of where the magic happens. And I personally think that no matter what it is you're looking to create, whether it be healing or health, wealth, abundance, love, whatever it is, each time you push yourself a little bit further and you connect a little bit more, that whatever it is eventually going to happen. So I don't think personally it matters how you get there. You just show up and do it. And I would say play with the meditations, see what you like, see what you resonate with. Again, I have the example of, I used to hate the time, space, time. I'd be like, oh my God, like when is it going to stop? But now that I have practiced a little bit more and I understand, that is a meditation that can take me a heck of a lot deeper without me worrying about what am I trying to create. I just want to get into the field and just be there and connect with oneness and wholeness. So again, I think that no matter what you're trying to create, as long as you show up consistently, eventually you'll get there. And I will say again, there is no such thing as a bad meditation. You can learn from each meditation. And usually if you have a bad meditation, you're able to take something and learn from it and perhaps do better in the next one. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any other questions, I can share with you some of my favorite meditations or just answer any general questions you might have. Please leave it in the comments below. I love to answer your questions and interact with you. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can know when I post a new video. And of course, give this video a thumbs up because it really does help other people find this channel. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.